Hello there, I'm Allie and welcome to my channel. Today is part 6, sort of my 1860s Ariel series. I say sort of because this wig will be worn with the 1860s gown, but it won't be styled in the fashion of the era. We're going for a more traditional Ariel wig here. I want to apologize in advance because an awful lot of the footage looks like this. I really thought that I had the camera in a good spot so that you could see what I was doing, the camera wasn't in my way, and I wasn't in the way of the camera, but evidently that was not the case. Links to materials will be in the description down below. Let's get into it. We are starting with a dark red hard front wig from Epic Cosplay Wigs in the style Eros. Before we do anything, I hook the straps to the nape of the neck in the front of my wig form to secure it. You can do this with a foam head too by hooking it underneath the chin. This keeps the wig from moving around while you're working on it. First things first, we're going to crimp the wig. Crimping reduces shine and makes the wig less prone to tangles. This is a synthetic wig, so we want the crimping iron on a low-ish heat so it doesn't melt the hair. When we crimp, we want to elevate the hair and crimp at an angle. These two things together will hide the crimp marks. Combing out the section while the hair is still warm will also help to reduce the crimp marks. Here you can see the difference in the shininess of the sections I have and have not crimped. After several hours and giving myself tendinitis, the wig is crimped. Next, we section out the bangs. This wig had a skin top that happened to be just about the right size and shape for the bang section. I tend to hack off all the excess length I know I won't need before I shape. Because we want the bangs to go to the left, we are going to over-direct the section to the right before cutting it. This creates a gradual diagonal line that's shorter on the right. The shorter hairs will help encourage the longer ones to lay and stay in the direction we want. My wig form kept turning when I pulled on the bangs to cut them, and it ruined my tension on the section. It was infuriating. I don't tend to do any thinning of the section in the hair until I have it set into the curl pattern that I want. I find that trying to wrap hair that's been thinned around a rod really frustrating because this hair is so straight, it'll just stick up all over the place rather than wrap around the rod nicely. This is one of many steps with the bangs. It's just a lot of back and forth. I pick up pieces, I over direct them, I take a little bit more length off, I see a corner. It's just, sometimes being a hairstylist has its perks when it comes to styling wigs, and sometimes you take everything you learned in cosmetology school and throw it out the window. Don't get me wrong, I use a lot of my day-to-day hairstylist techniques when I'm styling wigs, but then you also have to remember that the wefts don't lay the same as hair that would be growing out of somebody's scalp. The hairline's all goofy, and the hair is synthetic, so you can't style it in the same way that you would a normal person's hair. I really enjoy the additional challenge though, and it actually teaches me things that I can go to work and use on my actual clients, which is kind of fun. Okay, let's get back to the actual styling. I rolled the wig with Velcro rollers, starting in the bangs. I rolled the hair in the direction I want to lay in, starting with 2 smaller on the left and 2 bigger ones on the right. This will give us more volume on the right and less volume, but more curl on the left. This will be important later. When you are rolling the hair for your wig, it is important that the section of hair you are rolling is not bigger than the dimensions of the roller. If you have too much hair on the roller, it will not steam evenly or set properly. You also want to over-direct your section. This means that you are taking your section of hair and you are combing it in the opposite direction that you want it to lay. Over-directing also helps to ensure that your roller sits on base. This means that it sits neatly on top of the section so you get the most effective curl and volume. It also just looks really neat and tidy that way. As I'm wrapping, I stick a pearl head pin into the roller and then into the wig form to keep everything secure. Some people like to use T-pins, some people like to use clips. I prefer the pearl head pins because I find that T-pins with the little hook thing on top of them tend to snag in the hair, which is really frustrating, and clips can leave a funky line sometimes in the wig hair once it's steamed that's really hard to get out, so pearl head pins work well for me. You want to use either rust-resistant or ideally rust-proof pins when you are styling because you're going to style the wig with steam, and what is steam? Hot water. So that's going to over time make the pins rust, which means they're not going to be as sharp, and they might leave weird stains in some of your lighter wigs. I rolled the rest of the head in mostly medium rollers and then got ready to steam. Once was all said and done, I actually hated how this turned out, and I ended up re-rolling everything with smaller rollers. I used my steamer and a metal tail comb to smooth any of the funky hairs that inevitably stick out. I do not recommend that you use a plastic tail comb for this step because the steamer could melt the plastic, and the plastic can melt to the wig hairs, and that's not fun. Ask me how I know. Next, we are going to put a literal trash bag over the entire wig and the steamer. This is to lock the steam in the bag with the wig, sort of like a hood dryer at the salon, but with steam. I will typically fill my steamer all the way up with water, lock it into the on position, and then just let it run until it's empty. Do not leave your steamer unattended. Once I have decided that it's cooked enough, I remove the bag and let the wig cool and dry completely. If you do not allow the hair to completely cool, the curl will not set properly. Once the wig is cool and dry, I carefully remove the rollers, starting from the bottom and working my way up. Welcome to the step I'm going to call the bangs, but mostly my shoulder. I took the rollers out of the bang section and began the seemingly endless process of combing, teasing, and thinning the bangs until I have a result I'm happy with. I do my bangs for Ariel a little bit differently than like the Disney parks would or other cosplayers. Most people will kind of do like an S shape where they have a section of bang that comes down on around your eyebrow. I don't like things touching my face if I can help it, so I typically prefer for the bangs to just kind of go up and back and almost stick out like a shelf off the front of my forehead, more like the movie. It's definitely not as aesthetic as the way that other cosplayers in the Disney parks do it, but that is my personal preference. When I tell you that it is endless process of teasing and thinning, I truly mean it. Sometimes you can see where it's like, oh, this is getting somewhere, and then I completely comb it out because it's just not getting where I want it to be. When I thin the bangs, I almost always go in with a deep point cut, meaning my thinning shears are going in the same direction that the hair goes so that it doesn't leave big holes in the hair. As I'm working, I'll kind of stick a little pearl head pin in there to hold the bangs up where I like them so that I can shape things a little bit funky, and then I end up pulling them out and putting them back and taking something shorter or thinning it more or teasing it more. For the most part, what I am going for with this is a fairly solid mass of super teased hair with combed out and smoothed outside. So the inside of the bangs is pretty tightly teased so that it holds its shape nicely, but the exterior is nicely smoothed and styled. I set the hair in the general direction I want it to go with my steamer. I have a smaller steamer that I use for this step because I am usually combing the hair in the direction I want it, and trying to do that with the big steamer is really cumbersome and irritating. Finally, we're getting somewhere here with something that I like, and now you can kind of see why having those two smaller rollers on the end for the additional curl is something that I like. It creates this nice little finger wave almost with a tight little spiral at the end that I feel makes the bangs look very well polished and finished, and it prevents me from having to thin the ends of it out a lot so that they transition nicer into the rest of the wig. Absolutely no hairspray will touch this wig until I am 100% certain that I am done and do not intend to do any more styling. If you spray your wig with hairspray while you're still styling, no matter what spray you use, you tend to end up with a sticky mess of wig covered in little white clumps of product that are really irritating to try and remove. Your steamer should actually do most of the work setting the hair in the shape and style that you want it. The point of the hairspray is more to encapsulate individual hairs so that you don't have weird flyaways. Here we have what I thought was the finished bangs. I did end up redoing them at least 2 more times after this. They are mostly where I want them though, so I continue to steam and smooth and put things where I want them. Occasionally I will take the wig off of the wig form and put it on my head just to make sure that it's proportional with my face, but not always. And like I said earlier, I ended up looking at this and deciding that the curls on the bottom were too loose, so I redid everything with smaller rollers. When I'm finally happy with the final product, I go in with a Got To Be Glued hairspray to set everything in place. I use a variety of different combs and brushes to kind of zhuzh things where I want them and permanently set them in place. I like to use a wider tooth comb to kind of smooth out the top section so that the ends stay really curly and defined, but the top's a little bit smoother. That way you are disguising any of the wefts and you don't have weird holes in places. When it comes to the length and the curls, I just spiral them around my fingers in various directions and patterns until I decide that I'm happy with it. For wig prep, I typically like to wear just a netted wig cap and then one of those velvet headbands that prevents the wig from sliding around. I make sure the hooks are hooked in the back as the tightness that I like it, and then I put the wig on the front first and then guide the back hairline down around the underside of my wig prep. You should only ever be touching and adjusting your wig with the wig cap on the inside. You should never be grabbing the styled portions of your wig in order to put it on or adjust it. The bangs are pretty solid, they're not really gonna go anywhere, but if you handle them too much, you'll break them up and then you have to restyle them. I was trying to secure the ear tabs of my wig down with some bobby pins, but I was struggling with it and decided to just say, forget it, I'm wearing this wig for 10 minutes while I film whatever. I pull a couple of tendrils out around the front just to frame my face. We take our dingle hopper and comb the curls out, and she is on and ready to go. I adjusted the bangs a little bit more here. I want that edge of the wig to sit right on my hairline so that it looks more like natural hair. Now let's quickly run down how to store a wig like this. First of all, I like to use a foam wig head and some more of those little pearl head pins. I will stick the pearl head pins in underneath the bangs to kind of support them. Like I said, it's pretty solid, it's not really gonna go anywhere, but it's nice to have that little extra support under the bangs so the gravity doesn't do its gravity thing. And then I will take a little metal clip and secure the curl at the edge of the bangs down as well. Next, I'm gonna put a big wig net on over. You can use the one that came with your wig. I have a whole bunch that I bought on Amazon, and you're gonna put that over the bangs first and then kind of guide the length of the hair into the wig net. I'm gonna take another pearl head pin and I'm gonna stick it into the wig head, kind of inside of the wig cap. We don't want this to snag on any of the hair. And then we'll take the wig net and hook it onto that pin. This helps to lift the length up so that it's not pulling funny, sticking to things. It just keeps it a little bit more contained. And again, gravity may make the curls kind of fall over time. Then I'm gonna take a smaller clip and I just clip the wig net together in the back. This just completely contains all of the hair so that I don't have to worry about hair falling out somewhere. I can transport it a little bit easier, that kind of thing. A couple more pearl head pins stuck through the wig to make sure that nothing budges. And there we have it, a beautiful finished Ariel wig. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you'd like to see more from me. Don't forget to click the notification bell so that YouTube lets you know every time I upload. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!